But while we're getting started, wanted to talk a little bit about the history of Sage with construction. Many of you have probably heard about Sage. We have been in the construction industry for over 40 years, and we have 50,000 construction clients on one of our many different solutions for construction. 48% of the top ENR contractors are utilizing Sage software, and 53% of the BD&C giants use Sage software for their construction firms as well. And we are the #1 provider of accounting and estimating solutions for construction. So as we built out Sage Intacct, which we'll talk about in just a few minutes, remember that history that we have in construction and how much we actually do in construction. This is not working so well for me here. Bear with me. Nikki, I might need you to help me back this up. I can't go backwards. Thank you. Okay. So Sage Construction, again, our product portfolio, as you'll see, we manage everything, not just including your financials, but from pre-construction into operations and then the financials for your construction operations. For pre-construction, we have solutions such as Sage Construction Management that Julie is going to show you in a little bit. Sage Estimating, Bid Matrix for our general contractors, which is out now, as well as for our operations and project management. Again, Sage Construction Management goes from that pre-construction into the operations and project management for you, as well as Sage Field Operations, managing those field workers, Sage Intacct Real Estate, and then, of course, into our financial management with Sage Intacct Construction, Sage Intacct Construction Payroll, as well as, of course, Sage 300 CRE, otherwise known as Timberline, and Sage 100 Contractor. See if we move this time. There we go. In addition to our core solutions, we actually also have a large number of ISV solutions that integrate fully into Sage Intacct. These are fully supported, have pre-built integration. So everything from Procore, Assignar, ADP, as you'll hear from Scott, many solutions for the construction industry. This is just a sample of those solutions that do have those pre-built connectors into our financial management tool, which is Sage Intacct. As we'll talk about here in just a little bit, you hear Sage Intacct Construction, but want everybody to remember that it is not just for construction. We actually have a number of clients across many different verticals. So whether you're a specialty contractor, general contractor, developer, custom home builder, a lot of energy firms use our solution, as well as you'll see the other bucket. That other bucket often includes architects, engineers, professional services firms, really anyone who needs to work within project management, have change orders, all those types of functionality also utilize the Sage Intacct Construction product. As you'll see also, we are the #1, as we've talked about, project-based ERP software. One of my favorite things to highlight is the AICPA. We are the only provider that is preferred by the AICPA for our accounting solutions. Sage Intacct was built by finance for finance, and it is a truly built in the cloud solution. And we have also, as you can see, won many other awards, including easiest to use project-based ERP and the top construction tech products in 2023. So really proud of our solution and what we've built specifically for construction. Talk a little bit more about Sage Intacct Construction Accounting, some of the unique functionality that we know you guys need as part of your construction accounting requirements. So that job costing, that's going to help you identify your true costs and profitability that you can't get if you don't have that functional work breakdown structure as part of your solution. We have fully built that into Sage Intacct Construction. We also understand that you guys in construction have very decentralized production. So many manufacturing companies or organizations have one location that they're providing their solutions from. You guys are in multiple states, multiple locations. You're not in a fixed plant or warehouse. So that has tax implications, mobilization costs, of course, your field data capture and project management out in the field. And then, of course, your long-term contracts that are going to be with your subcontractors and pay apps, utilizing the revenue recognition and how that impacts those long-term contracts that you need to manage over time. So first, again, we'll talk a little bit more in depth before Julie shows you the Sage Construction Management Tool. Again, that's going to handle everything from your leads and your estimating and your bids. Once you win your bids, it's also going to help you manage your projects out in the field, doing all your daily job logs, managing those projects, the communications with your contractors, subcontractors, etc. And then moving into that financial and project insight for your project management folks out in the field. And then it fully integrates and comes into Sage Intacct for your accounting teams to manage on the back end. There we go. Sage Field Operations, of course, is part of our solution as well. Again, fully integrated into Sage Construction Management and Sage Intacct Construction to help you manage those field workers. You're going to be able to manage your scheduling. You're going to be able to manage your work orders. You're going to be able to really have, again, that full visibility for your project management team of their field workers all the way through into accounting and have everything fully integrated in one solution. And then finally, we have Sage Intacct Real Estate. That is going to manage your property management. So if you have properties that you manage, and that may not be a full physical building, that might be a data center where you're going to be managing that space. So this Sage Intacct Real Estate has been utilized in many different ways to manage properties or manage your lessees who are leasing property from you, whether that's commercial or residential. And in 2025, we'll also be rolling out affordable housing. How is that different than lease accounting? We get that question all the time. So lease accounting is if I am leasing an office copier, that's when I need lease accounting. If I am leasing space or functionality to someone else, that's when I need Sage Intacct Real Estate. We do offer both solutions. They work together hand in hand, or you can have one or the other with Sage Intacct as well. So that's it for me. Just wanted to give you the overview of how many different things that we have available for you. And then I'm going to hand it over to Julie to show us a little bit more in depth.
Thank you, Tanya. I appreciate everyone being able to join us today so that we can show you a couple of our Sage products that are really great for the construction industry. To start off, I'm going to show a slide real quick because with Sage Intacct, one of the things that really sets it apart from the rest of the applications that are out there for financial reporting is we are a dimensional driven software application. And what that means is we have these dimensions are like little buckets, if you will. So right out of the box, we have a number of standard dimensions like our location, department, class, vendor, customer, employee, and item. And we'll be able to really slice and dice with using these dimensions. And if those dimensions aren't enough, we do have some user-defined dimensions that we can enable. And then once we're enabling the construction subscription, that is where we will have access to the specialty dimensions, which are project, contracts. And then if you use inventory, we have a warehouse dimension that's available. And in tandem with those specialty dimensions, we utilize dependent dimensions such as your task, or also called cost code, and cost type. So now I'm going to hop into our solution here real quick. So when you first log into Sage Intacct for construction, this is our homepage, and you're going to see a lot of information that's already showing up here. We have information about releases. We have a message board over here in the lower right-hand corner. We have other resources like our Sage University for training. We have a number of marketplace partners, as ADP is one of those marketplace partners. We have 4 releases per year. And what makes that really great, and what's really the benefit to this, is that there's no need to download updates and having to install them on a server. You literally come in. It's done over the weekend. There's no loss in productivity. So you literally come in and everything's right there for you. We've got the updates will come out 2 weeks before. And you can see, we can go in and we can read the release notes, or we can view them. And also the goal with Sage Intacct is to make it very user-friendly and easy to navigate. So each user can customize their homepage to whatever they want. I'm going to be showing you a couple of dashboards in a few seconds, and that could load when you log in. We also have the ability to set bookmarks. We can also create favorites, so you can hop right into where you want to work. We are a role-based security system, so we can define those roles. So right here, I'm logged in as an administrator, so you can see that I have access to all the various applications within Sage Intacct, but that will be customized so that your users will only see the areas that they need to use. We also can have process maps. So if some people are more of a visual and they want to see the workflows that have been enabled, they can view it that way as well. We also have multi-entity capabilities. So right now I'm working at the top level and I can work across all these other entities. What this does, it enables us to have intercompany entries made automatically. And we can also share our master information, such as your chart of accounts and your vendors and your customers. Those roles, users can also access either at the top level or you can have them access only an entity. I'm going back to the chart of accounts and the dimensions. A number of us are used to working with a segmented chart of accounts. Well, with Sage Intacct and the dimensions, that goes away. So your chart of accounts is very streamlined. So next I'd like to hop over and I'm going to work right within a construction entity that I have set up here. And you can see that I've got dashboard up on my screen. And with this, you can see we have KPIs or performance cards as we call them. And these are also drillable as well. And here is an example of how powerful Sage Intacct is in terms of being able to just automatically refresh. So if I wanted to look at a particular location, or maybe I want to look at particular projects or even down to a project manager, I could filter it right for that. And let's say I want to look at all locations, but I want to look at this project manager's projects to see how he's doing. And it quickly refreshes and shows me just his projects. In my role as a controller, I used to spend hours trying to gather that information instead of just having it right at my fingertips. And this top project overview here, this is very similar to a contract status report. So you can see that we're able to pull in that contract amount, approve change orders where we get a revised contract total. We're going to be able to bring in an estimate, which is calculating our profit margins. And then we can drill down on our commitments. We can see the bill to date and cost. And you will also notice that there's hyperlinks all over the place in here. So we can just quickly drill down on this feature right here in this particular transaction. And we're able to get to the journal entry, and then we're even able to get down to the bill. And so then when I click on the bill, I can then view all this information about this particular transaction. And here you see our dimensions in full play here. We have our vendors, we have our customer, we have our project, we've got cost codes, cost types. And I click on a little paperclip, and here is my AP document that has been attached to it. And this one's also telling me that it's been paid. So then when I drill down on this check, I can get down into my check register. And I can even drill down even further. And because we have automatic bank feeds that you can enable with Sage Intacct, your bank statement can be reconciled continually. So here I see that this check is still in transit, and I could void it, place a stop payment at my bank site, and away we go. So very user-friendly, lots of information right at your fingertips. And I'm trying not to log out of my application all the way. Okay, so going back to our dashboard here, after we've looked at that transaction, you can see here I've got that same report that I added to my dashboard, and it's now by job type. So here it's filtered. You can see the various types, and here's another view of that with it being sorted by a project manager. And that's still showing Doug Moffett. And then if you want to flip it another way, we could create a report on our dashboard that is by like a P&L, profit and loss statement, or an income statement, where we can just see the project types. And coming down further, we could say I want to see just the restaurants here, and then it's showing me each project. We also have the ability to have a collaborate available, and then we have graphical views for these dashboards. And so moving into the projects area, this is where we can set up our projects, and you'll see we have it all in a setup tab. The setup tab is where you're creating, you can set up your system. That's when that would be utilized, and we would have a standard cost code catalog that we would bring in. So that's got all your cost codes, and they can be linked together. And then we also have our standard cost types, which we would have those linked to a GL account so that we can work back and forth with them. So then going over here, we've got a project. We're going to add our project. And when we come into a particular project, we'll be able to add our job number, name it, what type of project. Here we've got our dimensions going on. Again, we've got our customer, we've got our project manager. That's another dimension. We have different types of billings that we can enable. We can do fixed fee, time and material, fixed fee and expenses. We also we'll be bringing in your cost codes. We can import an estimate. We'll take a look at that area in a little bit. And then our purchasing commitment. So you could actually work right from this window. Everything would be centralized right there, nice and easy. And then moving on, once we've set that project up, we're going to come over here and we're going to build out our estimate. Now this estimate, this is the cost side that you would be tracking against. And so let's see, we'll pull up my project here. And this is something that we can import from an Excel template that we provide. So you get it out of your estimating system and it comes right in here. And you can see that we've got our cost codes and cost types, and we've got our departments and our locations all enabled. And down here are our change orders. So we do have a change management solution. So we're able to handle change requests. Those change requests can then be incorporated into change orders. And then on the revenue side, we're going to build out our contract in here. So this is going to create our schedule of values so that we can bill against this. And again, this is something that we can import using an Excel template. So it makes it really simple to use. There's nothing really super complex in terms of being able to build out those templates. And in here, we have our schedule of values. So we have our regular line items here. And also, again, here, we'd be able to see all of our billing details. So we've got nice audit trails going on with as well. And so once we build that out, we can come in here and we can generate an invoice. And when we're building out that invoice, we've got our schedule of values down here that we've created our invoice, and we go to print it. And we can view that PDF attachment. It generates an AIA type billing for us to use. We handle retainage. And then on this invoice, you can see all the posting details, payment details. And going into our purchasing area, this is where we will be generating all of our commitments. So we have our subcontracts and we have our purchase orders. So we can view all those purchase orders, and we can process our pay applications right against that. And we also have the ability to track commitments and the commitment compliance area. So we're going to track insurance certificates, and we'll have lien waivers that are available. And then going into accounts payable, when we're going to pay, you can see from here that we're generating errors because this particular pay app, all of our insurance is expired. So we're handling your compliance issues as well. And so that is just a real quick look at Sage Intacct. I'm going to hop over here into Sage Construction Management real quick. So you can see our project management solution. So when we come in, you can see all your alerts. And this is on the landing page. When you log in, you can manage those alerts. We have a workflow that can be enabled. So right now I can see that I've got some bills sitting in my project manager's queue waiting for his approval. We can also enable an e-sign feature, which can be linked to a DocuSign account and then sent out from there, and then everything gets maintained back in here. And so all these areas here are available with our solution. The contact management solution, this is where we'll sync with your accounting solution to bring in your customers, your vendors, your employees. Each company would have a record and they'd have their contact information. We're able to track your commitment or your insurance certificates and any other documents that might have an expiration date, so that we're staying on top of that. We could have it attached in here as well. And then we have a cost database where we can track equipment items, labor, work items. All these are used in the estimating area to help build out a schedule of values. And then in the leads area, this is an area where we would be tracking projects that we hadn't been awarded yet, that we're bidding. We could see them on an upcoming alerts calendar. Track those active leads and hop in here. We can take a look at a landing page. We can see the stage. Lots of information in here. We have an invitation to bid feature. We have estimates. We can build out your estimate. In the invitation to bid area, that would link to a TeamLink portal where you'd be able to see whether they've logged in, have the bidders replied, and staying on top of that bid so that you're managing it through that process. And then also when we look at the estimate area, we can build out an estimate in here. If you're using another solution, you can see that we can import it also from Excel. There's templates that are provided with this application as well. And the goal here is if we're going to bring this in, then we could actually review our estimate before we send it out. We can print a proposal that we could send out. We can link our scope and drawing and specs all with that. This system is also has security built into it so that you can set that up to control who has access to the various areas, what applications. And you can see all your projects in here. And we can click on one. And from here, then this is where we start our project management. Now with the leads area, if you've built your lead, your estimate out there, all those files can then be converted over into this project. So everything that was built over in the leads area comes over. So you can see we've got that invitation to bid and where the estimate came over. We can upload drawings in here, and you can be able to view the drawings from within this area. And we also have a project directory where we can, once we've decided who we're going to buy out the project with, we can assign them a TeamLink role so that they have access to our TeamLink portal. And also we can upload specifications. Here in the contract admin area, this is where the financial area starts linking in. And we have our prime contracts that we would create, build out, and they can be sent out. We have change proposal requests, change orders, and we also have prime invoices here. Moving down into the procurement area, this is where you'll be doing your buyout. We have purchase orders that you can create and send out. Your accounting team would be processing all their bills and sub payouts from within the solution here. Subcontracts can be issued from here and sent out and tracked. So you have full tracking, and you can see whether they're approved, they're pending, what their statuses are. And there's all kinds of reports that are available over here as well. And then we have time and expense overview. We have a mobile app that we can enable, and you can clock in and clock out from that. And those time cards can then be approved. We have correspondence overview, where we have issues that might be, maybe it's weather delays, permitting issues, things of that, journals, RFIs, and submittals. So there's no longer a need to be tracking those things in Excel. You can create those RFIs. You can copy, you bring in some information manually, Excel. And then in the documentation area, we have some great features here because, as you know, in construction, documentation is key. We can upload photos. We have the daily field reports that we can create. And on the daily field reports, we can be tracking activities. We can track your site conditions. All this can be updated from the mobile app. What trades are on site. We can keep up with your equipment that's on site, any delivery. All that information can be maintained right here. We also have meetings that we can track so that we're staying on top of that project. We can do your safety meetings in here, coordination meetings with your contractor and your architect. So from in here, you could send out an invitation, you could send out meeting minutes and keep up with the attendees. We have our new business items, and then we have old business items. So anything that was on the previous agenda and it didn't get closed out, it would show back up here. And we're tracking who's responsible for those various areas as well. We also have quality control and safety. We have a number of checklists that could be created so that you could do like a shop drawing review. Maybe you want to have a checklist to start your project. We could have a project closeout. Number of ways to stay on top of that project here. Compliance notices, we'll keep up with those, and you could upload copies of your permits in here so that they're always very accessible. And then punch lists. Our punch list can be also updated on the mobile app, and so you can see who's responsible and whether it's been closed out. And for safety, we have site hazard assessments, safety incidents, safety meetings here, and then agenda items. Going back here, and then we have our scheduling overview. So we have general to-dos that you could track and keep up with various tasks that might need to be kept up on to make sure that they're getting handled. You can see that they're not started, progress completed overview, and that could also be done in a calendar view. We have a Gantt chart for the schedule. So the schedule has your tasks and with your predecessors and your dependencies can be all enabled here. You can assign resources, and then that can be viewed in the calendar. It can make your subs can make comments on it. So I want to hop over here real quick, and I'm going to show you the TeamLink portal. I apologize, it's gotten logged out. Log back in here real quick. So this is what I'm showing you here is how your subs or your owners could access from the TeamLink portal. They would get an email notifying them of their access, and then they can log in. They can see projects that they've been awarded or bid opportunities. And from within here, you're going to be able to control what they have access to. If there's a plus by the function, then they can add that record. Otherwise, it is a read only. So here you can see your subs can come in here and they can enter their pay apps right from the solution. They're also going to be able to view their subcontract documents. They would be able to see any alerts, and they also have access to the drawings and specs and photos, any open items that are they're responsible for. And also here they'll have a financial overview so they can see exactly where they are in the project in terms of where they're billing it. It's got your subcontracts, it's tracking change orders and their invoices and whether they're been pending or they've been approved. So lots of information available. And here, I'm stuck. Oh, okay, here we go. So we have our dashboard that we can view here. That is in analytics. Logging back in. Technology is great. So in the analytics area, we have dashboards available. And then we also have analytical reports that we can review. There's a number of reports that are available within this solution. And here is the accounting link. And this is the accounting link is a batch post wizard. It's not automatic at this time. You can send your transactions over using that, and then we would be retrieving your payment and deposit information back or any job cost information. So that's pretty, there's a lot of information that I've tried to disseminate in a short period of time. So now I'd like to turn that over to ADP.
Well, thanks very much. I appreciate that. And as we're going to be showing this as we're moving forward, please don't hesitate to stop with any questions whatsoever, because that's very important. Nikki, if you could you move to the next slide for me, please? Thank you. So what we have here is Sage Intacct and payroll for construction, powered by ADP. Modern HCM solutions are designed to, attract and retain workers, because as we all know, that's one of the biggest challenges we've got out in the field of construction, is to not only get the right workers, but to keep them there. And the competition is pretty fierce. As the average construction age increases, we continue to try to find ways to help automate this, help keep the workers safe, compliant, but also, please, next slide, please, Nikki. So what we've done is we have a product that's called Sage Intacct Payroll, powered by ADP for construction. And what this allows us to do is actually take any sort of union rules, automatically add this in, and it will read your collective bargaining agreements. And as people are passed through, it's going to apply that logic automatically. Any sort of governmental jobs or union types or governmental jobs or prevailing wage types of jobs, it's going to pass that through as well. We've also got about 65 or 70 different templated certified payroll solutions working with this as well, in addition to an API connection right back into Sage Intacct. Next slide, please. So along with this, as we rolled out this solution, we also realized the high importance of high touch implementations. So in rolling this out, we developed what we call the CCOE, or the Construction Center of Excellence. So what the Construction Center of Excellence is, it's 125 plus team members of a white glove implementation team. So in other words, within ADP, you have to be certified in order to work on this team. They specialize in union work, they specialize in prevailing wage work, and they work in the construction industry specifically. You're not going to be working with any of these people and come across words like organizations, because that's a nonprofit term, right? So we have developed this team specifically to work in construction. We've got about 250 clients currently within this process. And as you see also here on the screen, in addition to our Sage integration, we also have the ability to work with a best of breed time and labor management systems. As you know, in the construction industry, mobility and mobile time collection is a given. So we work with members at Econs, Procore, HH2, and in addition to having our own mobile product for the best of breed, and have the ability to work with multiple different systems as companies go out and acquire additional companies. With ADP, we pay approximately 1 in 6 Americans. Next slide, please, Nikki. Okay, I'm going to take over the screen and show you how this works, as opposed to just talking about it. So, can everybody see the ADP mobile time unit? Give me a thumbs up.
Scott.
All right, thank you very much. So what we have here is is ADP's mobile time collection. And in addition to signing in, which will allow us to move forward and clock in and clock out, we also have the ability to do a number of other things within here. Because of the fact that we're an end-to-end HCM provider, we also have the ability to communicate with people, tell any of our employees that they have something to do, like missing punches, for example, any sorts of tasks that they might have. We can broadcast to our employees if there's impending weather coming, for example. Because we have the payroll engine, we can have the employees see their pay. They can also request for time off. They could also track where they're at within their retirement. So once somebody enters their time in here, what happens is it goes to authorization. And once our supervisors or whoever we have dedicated to authorize the time is concerned, it'll go into our time solution, whereby as a practitioner here, I'm logged in as a manager. I can go in and modify a time card. Here we have an employee that's got a missing punch. And I have the ability to go in here and correct this missing punch. And then once I authorize this, once everything's corrected, it's pulled into our workforce now for construction. So this is really where all the magic happens, where all the logic happens. So I'm going to show you why this works and then show you how it operates. So behind the scenes, what you have, if once we get any sort of a prevailing wage job, for example, we import this into our solution over the course of the pay period, and it will automatically place these projects and the future effective date by the prevailing wage and any sorts of their fringes as it applies. So as the employees are being pulled through, this sort of logic is going to be applied automatically. In addition, if we have any unions that we work with, this is applied here as well. You see, we have a number of different fringes that we have applied. We automatically do fringe reduction. We can pay the highest of the different amounts, as it were. We also can coordinate union paybacks if you go across state lines, cross unions, cross locals, what have you. This is something that's built into the system. Any questions before I move back to the dashboard? Okay. So at this point, we'd add the time and rates. So if we were working with a third-party time system, we would add this in here. We're working, however, in our demo environment within our own time system. So we would just go through, and before we can calculate the payroll, it tells us we got some things to do here. We've still got some additional payments. We got some time and attendance. Looks like we've got some missing punches that we would need to complete. So once we complete all that, we would just go through and we would calculate the payroll, and it would tell us that at this point we had the amount of our total gross pay and hours and the number of pays within that pay period. Now, once everybody's paid, we have to print out the certified payroll reports. Of course, we need to do that post-tax to present it. So all we do to click here under certified payroll reports, and the certified payroll reports that you require would appear here. So say, for example, we see here for this person, they had the WH 347, for example. And anytime these are printed out, it's kept on file for future reference for any sorts of audits that may exist. So we go and click on the 347, and here's all the information that we see here. Any questions on any of this so far? Okie doke.
I don't see any in the chat, Scott.
Thank you. So the last thing that I want to show you with respect to our solution here is the report writer that we've got. We all know, compliance and statutory compliance is so important within construction. So we can report on any of these fields that we have here in place. Let's show you how easy this is to do. I'm going to go into a person's profile, for example, and we have a product that we developed and won awards for, actually. It's called Field Grabber. So I click on this Field Grabber here, and what it does is it makes any of the fields that you see here with a plus on it reportable. So for example, this is just a profile. I would go on the person's, in this case, we'll say job title and hire date for lack of for argument. We go to annual salary, for example, and then I can preview this report. You see, as I'm doing this, it shows you the fields up here. This is a great tool to track, for safety, for compliance, for what you're licensed for, and so forth. And obviously, you can go through and save these off as well. I'm just going to run a preview here because it takes a minute or so to create the data. Let me try this again here. There we go. So this is an example. This is all done real time, and you can report on any field within the database. Questions on that? Okay, so now what we've done is we've taken the time in. We've gotten our employees paid because it's taken into consideration for prevailing wage and fringe reduction, and unions and union fringes. Run our certified payroll reports. The last thing that we need to do is post this to our ERP for a job level detail. Pretty simple to do. All we do is we go into GL here, and this allows us to set up a report. Go to my reports dashboard, and within the construction sector, it's going to set up the general ledger interface, which is also going to include our job cost level detail. It's just a case of hitting process, create it, and away we go, and it updates our Intacct database of the job level detail.